Okay, so in the last lesson, we did this example, example 6, and I taught you how to do a reverse table lookup on the normal table to find a z-score given the percentage or the area under the curve. I want to redo this same question, but now I want to show you how to use the calculator rather than the table. And going forward, I'm going to use the calculator anytime we need to do a reverse table lookup. Same as when we were doing the normal application questions where we had to find an area under the curve. And I did those last few examples using the calculator. Calculator is just more efficient, it's quicker, and less likely that you're going to make a mistake. So here are the instructions in order to find a z-score, also a raw score, but I'll teach you raw scores in the next video, given an area under the normal curve now using the calculator. So this function that we're going to use to find a z-score, given an area under the curve using the calculator, it's in the same menu as your normal CDF. So we're going to press second, then the vars key. But now it's going to be option 3, inverse norm, INV norm. And the INV stands for inverse, which think reverse. We're going to do a reverse lookup. So we're looking for a score rather than an area. And we know the area. Now, there's 3 things that we have to enter when we use this function: the area, the mean, and the standard deviation. And the area that we're going to enter when we use inverse norm specifically has to be the area to the left of the unknown z-score. Okay? So let's do an example and you'll see what I mean. So let's go back, redo this example like I said, but now we're going to use the calculator. So let me just open a blank page and we'll redo these questions. Okay, so this was example 6. But now we're going to be using the calculator. So in part A, we wanted to find the z-score that cuts off the bottom 20% of the distribution. So we said the bottom 20% was down here. And we wanted to find the z-score. And the area to the left was 0.20. So like I was explaining before, whenever we want to work backwards and find a z-score, given we know the area to the left, we're going to use inverse norm. So we press second and then the vars key. But now we choose option 3, which is inverse norm. And we need 3 things: area to the left of the unknown z-score, and the area to the left of the unknown z-score in this case is 0.2000, right? That's the area to the left of this z-score that we're trying to find. So my area to the left is going to be 0.2 or 0.2000. The zeros aren't necessary. You could take it or leave it. And then since we're looking for a z-score, remember the mean of all the z-scores is always 0 and the standard deviation of the z-scores is always 1. And now we could paste, press enter, and we should get negative 0.84, right? That's the z-score that we got when we did it the first time using the table, right? We got a z-score of negative 0.84. We got the same thing using the calculator. Sometimes there's going to be a little bit of rounding error and it might be off by a teeny tiny bit, but not much. So now let's do part B. So remember, part B was to find the z-score that cuts off the top 13% of the distribution. which made the area to the right 0.13. But remember, we always need the area to the left because that's the way the table works and that's the way the calculator works. And this was 0.87, right? We did it last time, 100% minus 13% is equal to 87%, which is 0.87. And that's the area to the left of this unknown z-score. So that's the area that I'm going to use when I do inverse norm in the calculator. So let's pull up inverse norm again. So second and then the var's key. It's option 3. Now the area to the left is 0.87. The mean is still 0 and the standard deviation is still 1 because I want the calculator to give me a z-score. And we should get about 1.13. That's what we got when we used the table. And we do. We get 1.13 because we have to round that 2 to a 3 because there's a 6. So 1.13, we get the same thing. So z is equal to positive 1.13. And then we'll redo part C. So part C, if we go back, was to find the z-score that's at the 40th percentile. So let's get rid of this. We'll do part C. So we want the z-score that's at the 40th percentile, or that has an area of 0.4 to its left. So I'm going to do inverse norm again. The area to the left is 0.4. The mean is still 0. The standard deviation is still 1 because we're looking for a z-score. And we should get negative 0.25, right? That's what we got when we used the table. And we did. We got negative 0.25. We always want to round z-scores to decimal places. So this is negative 0.25. So that is how we use the calculator now to do a reverse table lookup. So this is how we use the calculator to find a z-score given an area under the curve. And what we'll do now in the next lesson is I'll show you how to convert that z-score to a raw score, right? Because what if I want to know what the actual data value is? I could convert a z-score back to a raw score, and that actually ties back into chapter 3. So if you need to review before the next video, chapter 3, remember how we calculated raw score? There was a formula for raw score. X was equal to the mean plus the standard deviation times the z-score. So if you have to go back and review that, do so. And then I'm going to introduce that back into this next example. So we'll start with example 7 in the next lesson.